Hello everyone. I'm sitting down. And it's very strange. And I cannot move because there's not a lot of space. But I am gonna bring up Portia because part of the opening video is to say Portia is gonna be the host. And everything just happened that we are doing a recording today. So Portia, are you ready for me to bring you in? So I'm so excited. I cannot hide it. Thank you, my beautiful Portia, for doing so many of my shows the last 4 weeks, 3 weeks and a half, because I am on a whirlwind tour in America from UK, from South Africa, UK, Dallas, Phoenix, and I now don't pronounce Phoenix the right way, but this is the best way I can do it. Phoenix, New York, um, Omaha, Nebraska, and back in Dallas. And then on Thursday, when the show is going to be aired, I will be on my way to London, and I'm in 40-hour in transit. So it means I'm going to take 40 hours before coming to South Africa. But I am truly sad to leave the family here and then excited to see my husband and my son. So my beautiful Portia, thank you so much for doing this amazing shows, the Power Hour shows for me. So I don't know if you wanted to say something before we play my beautiful sponsors video. And then we have two amazing guests that is going to blow everybody's socks away.
Well, Sanet, I want to say first and foremost, and I extend my gratitude to you giving me the opportunity to host your show. Second, I want to talk about really quick the excursion you've been on, right? This around the world in what I like to call 7 days, right? And talk about the Empowerment Express, right? I'm sure that your various visits from Phoenix, Dallas, New York has had its ups and downs, but this is where the empowerment piece comes in because you have your eye on the prize, right? You've had your eye on the prize from the very beginning to get here, meet with different people, get your book, be in community with people who you've spoken to online for however much time you have. And so I think truly you've been able to really be on the Empowerment Express this entire ride that you've been here in the States and even all the other things that you're doing. So I'm excited for you. I know we didn't get to meet each other in person, but we will at some point, right? We'll get you back here, hopefully yearly or every couple months here in the States. So
Oh, thank you. I've got goosebumps. I don't have my glasses here, so I will just go like this. So you can actually ask me a few questions. I would love that. Thank you so much. So my beautiful Portia, it was tiresome. Because when everybody goes to bed, I will then do some work here as well because I don't want to take too much time of my family time because I didn't see them for 2 years and now I don't know when I will be seeing them again. So for me, it's to spend with everywhere I go, I spend as much time as I could with the present person in front of me. But many of my things on my bucket list was going to be highlighted in yellow because I hugged the people I loved. My book, and if I can quickly go to the back here, my book, I sent you a copy. My book is up. Soul of a Diamond is up on the Jumbotron, but it's coming soon. So, yes, very excited. And then I cannot wait for the guests, my beautiful Lisa and Kelly, to come on. And then we will take the show on the road. And I like your Empowerment Express train. I love it. Oh, somebody's phoning. I think it's Robert, but I'm not able to talk to him. So I want to play my beautiful Jose's video, and I would have loved to see you, Jose, but it didn't work out when on our trip to Washington D.C. But here is your video. Thank you for being my sponsor, my beautiful Jose. Mwah.
Is Jose Escobar. I live in Washington, D.C. area. I'm a family man. I'm an entrepreneur, coach, author, and speaker. I have communities, I support people, I'm a servant leader, and the list goes on. And I'm primarily the CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. That's my bread and butter. That's my core offer, right? That's where I put most of my time and energy. And the Connected Leaders Academy is a growing community. It's a tribe of some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. We're now over 350 plus members, 42 states across the US, and 17 international countries. If you're an entrepreneur out there that's looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more money, more clients, right? This is the community for you.
Wow. Here we are. So, Portia, I sent your little present from Africa and your book to Cleveland, Ohio. And I know that Lisa is in Colombia, in Canada, New Colombia now. Okay. And then Kelly, you are in Arizona and you are on Mountain Standard Time. Ladies, I was so confused with the time zone. I didn't count the time hour ahead or hour behind because I said to Portia, please forgive me. Twice I've booked the wrong time because it's up and I was thinking I had to count up and not down. So, ladies, the time zone is confusing. So I'm gonna ask each of you to please introduce yourself and tell us what empowerment means for you. So my beautiful Portia, if I can start with you, please.
Sure. So, hello, everybody. I am Portia Booker, the host of the Grief Grantor TV show. Where we focus on embracing gratitude in order to evolve grief. I'm also a producer and a grief awareness advocate. So, for me, empowerment, when I think about the word empowerment, we look at what's within the entire word. And the main two words that I see are power and meant, right? Power and meant. So, when we're empowered, we're meant to overcome whatever obstacles or challenges that we've encountered, right? Because we're all born with some type of gift to help us through whatever it is that we've gone through. You know, when I think about my grief journey, one of the things that, and we're coming up on Mother's Day, this is the third Mother's Day without my mother. And I'm very vocal about my grief journey because I know there's other people who want to see grief different. They don't want to continue to see what I like to call the sad violin train of grief. There's a way to empower yourself and others and honor yourself where you are in the seat of occupancy that you have. So I think for me, empowerment really boils down to number one, awareness. Number two, intention. Where am I placing my intentional energy? Right? Am I going to continue to stay in the crap diaper like a 2-year old? Or am I going to choose to really take what's in front of me, make some eggs, and eat it? I mean, so I think empowerment at the end of the day, awareness, intention, and choice.
I love it. Wow, I love it. Thank you, my beautiful Portia. And you, my beautiful Lisa.
Hello, I'm in British Columbia, Canada. Yes, no, you did a great job, Sanet. And yes, I'm just back from 6 months from I was in Thailand for that long, and I've been back to Canada for a week. So I'm still adjusting. So if my brain seems a little bit loopy, that's why. I am a 51-year-old woman, mother of two amazing children, and I've been an elementary school teacher for most of my life. However, decided to make a major shift in my life after a 26-year marriage that wasn't healthy for me. And I knew I wasn't setting very good role modeling for my kids. That marriage ended, and I started to make major shifts in my life. And so when it comes to empowerment, I learned over the last couple of years that stretching my comfort zone, and I know many people say stepping out of their comfort zone, that for me always meant I was coming back into it to be comfortable. But for me, it was always stretching, stretching, stretching.
Yes.
And that's when I found the most growth came for me. So, like you showing your book, Sanet, and I'm very proud of you. And that's amazing, amazing that you got to share your book and celebrate your book. So, my first book, I was so proud. And, we talk about love as the root of living, and loving yourself and loving others. And so I got to write my first book, but this is also so cool. Stretching myself and writing the second book. I know.
Congratulations.
Just blows me away that I have done this in about just over a year. I've done those two books, and I'm very, very proud of them. And when it comes to, like I said, empowerment, just stretching my comfort zone. And the other big thing, which I talked about a lot in my first book, like you said, Portia, gratitude. Having the ability to see that everywhere all the time, and then also connecting with others to tell others what you're grateful in, what you see in them and what they bring to your life. Like, huge for me.
I love that. And I love that you say you're not stepping out of your comfort zone. I love that. You are stretching your comfort zone. I love, love, love that. So my beautiful Kelly, I'm gonna see you again this when we have our special for our mental health. Please can you introduce yourself and tell us what empowerment means for you?
I love that also, the stretching of your comfort zone. So, and also gratitude. My name is Kelly Melissa Reinhart. I am the founder of Make Mental Health Matter nonprofit. We're in a redesign or rebrand. So it used to be BCC Evolution, but ultimately we are really in the business of educating people so that they understand how to help somebody that might be struggling with a mental health substance abuse challenge or suicidal ideation. I lost my middle sister to completed suicide in 2017, and that's what really brought me into this space. I did not think that this was going to be my journey, but it has been a very amazing journey of being able to impact other people's lives. And I just wasn't educated myself. And as I really stepped into this role within my nonprofit and got certifications and more education, I found that that was a thing that people, and myself included, are lacking the most, is knowing how to help somebody so that we're not inundating the mental health space and really truly saving lives. Education truly, truly saves lives. And when you asked me the question, like, what does empowerment mean to me? The first thing that came to my mind, I was like, the superhero pose. Like I was like, my Wonder Woman pose. That's what I think about whenever I do empowerment, because that has been very impactful on me. It brings me confidence. It brings me the ability to speak with people and have those hard conversations, which I never ever thought that I would in a million years. Be wanting to have hard conversations. And really, like, with my nonprofit, that's what we're doing. We're empowering minds to actually save lives. And so for me, this has been, when you said that, I was like, man, that's like everything that I do. And it's just so important to empower ourselves to be able to empower others, which ultimately, in the long run, saves lives. And we can have these amazing conversations like we're having today. So,
Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Kelly. So you're gonna ask me now, Portia, what does empowerment means for me? But just want to let you know that specifically this empowerment session, I specifically chose you, Lisa, for all the work that you and Scott already have done and are going to do to empower other people to rethink on relationship, to rethink to work with each other differently, because you and Scott have that special bond that you are doing. So that's the reason. And then Kelly, when I met you and have a coffee chat with you, And I know I came to your show as well. You blew me away by your knowledge. And sometimes it's something small that a person wants to hear to decide that they want to live another day. And I have goosebumps because the day that I talked to you, I knew that you have already saved a lot of people's lives, but you are also going to do a little bit more because small wording, small right education, to give the person a comfort to know that I have the ability to save my loved one. So I don't know if you hear any whistling. Can you hear it?
Little bit, just
So
a little.
okay, I don't know, but maybe it's also a good thing. I don't know. I just wanted to say thank you so much for everything that you are doing. You and both Portia are both on E360 as a host. And in, naturally, my beautiful Portia, I have put you on to ask if you can take the host for this session, but live. But now, because of circumstances, we are doing a recording. Oops, I'm so sorry. Ladies, I'm on boxes here. So another thing I want to say, thank you, my beautiful Portia and Lisa. They are both my Mrs. Spots for the Diamond Beauties Forever. Portia is our fun house on a Saturday. So any lady that feels lonely or just wanted to be seen or heard, they can phone every day. There's a half an hour session with 7 Mrs. Spots. And my beautiful ones, Mrs. Spots is from
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. I'm just about to say Diamond Beauties. Ah, I'm so stuck on Diamond Beauty. It's from Beauty and the Beast, and she was such a caring hostess and looking after her son Chip. So, and then Lisa is our third Tuesday Mrs. Spots. So, Kelly, yes, as for that as well, because part of a lot of people's fight after COVID, loneliness is the biggest epidemic, if I can call it like that, going forward. That's the reason for Mrs. Potts, and we are doing it now for more than 6 months, and it's amazing. It's totally amazing. People know on a Saturday, they don't know what packet is going to come through. What will they have? The fun, what fun? On the rest of the week as well with Lisa's session, they take it by the ear. What the ladies wants to talk about, and then I do have a question or so, but it's just going amazing. So I'm gonna zip my lip, my beautiful Portia, and then you can ask me.
Well, I want to touch on what Kelly said about empowerment when you mentioned about the Wonder Woman pose. So during one of my Mrs. Potts Saturday fun houses, I dressed up as Wonder Woman.
She did.
And we do gratitude. I have a special gratitude wheel that I spin and it goes through each letter of the alphabet. And it's so funny because I think it landed on the letter W. And I said, we are all wonderful here in this world, right? Us as women, we bring so much to the world. We add a lot of value to each person who comes into our life. And so it was perfect when you brought that up, Kelly, because I'm like, all of us, all of us are truly wonderful. We all have this level of empowerment, whatever it might be, in our gifts that we deliver to the world. So I wanted to say that really quick. Sanet, for you, what does empowerment mean for you in the present day? And what did it mean to you years ago before you went on your healing journey?
So in the present day, it's like everything that I can put my mind to it and use my imagination. And I know my exact why. I know exactly everything I need to do my why. And then I do it my 3D dreaming. I use my imagination. And then that dream I wrote down on a piece of paper and then I burned it. Every item. I've got 124 items on my list. I don't know how much I have how I highlighted off because of this amazing trip of mine, but it's going to be a lot. But for me, when I burn my letter, I let it go, let God, because ultimately we are not in our power to the out the how. I do believe if we leave the how for God and the angels to do, then it's even more beautiful than you expected. So for me, my why is extremely important. And then do the dreaming, give it over to God, take the action, and then celebrate with gratitude. So I've got that 5 points of everything I do. And then also for me now, everywhere I went, all the people I've met, I could really say, Sanet, did you leave your sparkle in somebody's heart and memory? And I could tick it in. And ladies, I do have sparkles in my hair. I don't know if you can see it, but it's falling out. But I do have sparkles in my hair. It was for the New York trip. I'm thinking back before my 5 year journey. 5 years ago, I changed my life. Thinking about it, I always thought I was powerful, but thinking about the last 5 years, I really didn't believe in myself, and I always thought I was not good enough. So bringing self-love in my vicinity and being mindful every day, I've learned that I could trust myself because if Sanet says she will do something, she's going to do it. And because of that self-confidence in my self-image, everything that I've changed. My belief in God never changed. My faith in God never changed. My gratitude never changed. But now I think it's times 1,000 because you get stuff right, you're celebrating small and big milestones, and now your gratitude is like too much, just too much. I hope I've answered your question. Thank you so much. So you're welcome to
So
continue
you
hosting.
you want to continue hosting? Okay. So I do have a couple. It's funny because I do have a couple questions. We are in the season of Mother's Day, and each of you, I know, is a mother either to your physical children and also other people, whether it's cousins, friends who you've had to step in as the role of a mom to. And so I'm curious, I'm going to start with you, Kelly. What role does empowerment play for you in the lives of your children? How do they empower you, and how do you provide that level of reciprocity to them?
Well, good question. And I probably have a little bit different story, I guess. I had my daughter when I was 16 years old, and then my son 18 years later. So they're like a huge gap. And then I also have a stepdaughter who is 20, almost 21. And so I have kind of all the the different layers of children in my life. I with my daughter, we are still family with her and her adopted family, and so it's just become this big extended family. And then I also am a step parent, which is a whole other level of challenges. But with my son, since he is younger and I'm able to really experience being a mom fully, it has just been really amazing. And I love, so recently it was International Dance Day on April 28th, April 29th, something around there. And my son loves dancing, as do I. So we did a dance off and it was really, really fun. And the part about it is we had fun. Like that was the biggest thing was like in this space of being in the nonprofit, it has been really, really stressful. And I got to a place last year that I was really burnt out, really overwhelmed. And I had people that said, just keep going, it'll get better, I promise. And I listened to them and I was like, just keep going. And then we hit this year and it was like, what the heck? Like everything blew up and it continues to blow up, which is like on a good blow up, not like negative blow up. But it's been empowering for me to just keep going, because I was in such a like negative space last year, and I mean, really like borderline depression. And I now into this year, it's such a whole different energy. And being able to have those moments with my son to do the dance off. And I know Sanet loves dancing. Her and I danced when we first started talking, and that empowers me. So I'm able to empower my son to just have fun. It doesn't matter how you dance, what you look like. We can just have so much fun and have that energy. And on the flip side, like my daughter, I can watch her. Like I live vicariously through her because she's a nurse. She travels all the time. And I'm like, can you take me? I gave birth to you. Can I go? And so she empowers me to keep going. And that's how it's always been since I placed for her for adoption. I was like, I'm going to be better than the person I was yesterday for her. And so that's been really empowering for me and for her. And I know she watches what I do. And on the flip side of like being the step parent, I hope that I am giving those nuggets to my stepdaughter, although sometimes I feel like it's really, really hard as a step parent. I still see those glimpses of things that she's taking away from her and or from me and my husband and our relationship. And I think it's a two-way street, really. Should never be that do what I say. I don't align with that type of parenting. I like that conversation and being open with my children. And I, especially in the mental health and suicide prevention space, my son knows everything that I do. And a lot of parents are scared to talk to their kids, especially being young. But my son has known since he's really been able to comprehend. I mean, we started conversations at 4 years old, and we talk about it still. He knows that my sister died by suicide. He knows that what I do is I'm trying to save lives. And so that's the empowerment. Like the big key piece of empowerment for me is giving my kids the tools, the information, the resources that they need, and knowing that I'm a safe space for them to come back to if and when they need to.
And Kelly, you've taught them to, no pun intended, dance to their own drumbeat.
Yeah.
And not go based on the societal narrative, right? And I was also raised in a household that was very open. My mom, from the very beginning of as long as I can remember, told us, Portia, get me cremated. Do not put all this money into a funeral procession or celebration of life. So I knew when my mom physically transitioned, it was like, oh, okay, this is what I need to do. And so I'm grateful my mom instilled that level of empowerment in me to always don't be afraid to step forward, take that step. So I'm glad, Kelly, that you're doing that for your kids and your stepdaughter as well. High kudos to you.
Thank you.
Lisa, what about you? What role does empowerment play for you in the way that you parent? And also, how does that level of reciprocity come from your kids for you?
Amazing. I before I answer that question, may I add to your story, Sanet, about having your goal in mind, however you didn't know or you weren't sure of the how. And I had taken this long full year coaching course, like a personal development course this past year, and I had an amazing coach. His name was Matt. And this is kind of the quote that he gave me is the reminder to be present all the time. Okay. And so this is the quote. I'm going to read it from my book, that optimum results are only available when you have zero expectations on the outcomes. So to be present. And I began I began my weight loss kind of journey like you did, Sanet, back in 2018, and the shift started in me. I felt the shift. and the clarity and thinking was coming, and I wasn't bloaty all the time and feeling yucky, and all these great things were happening. And during that time, I started taking personal development classes, and I did the first one, and it tweaked something in me, like, I'm important. That was probably one of the biggest. I'm important. My thoughts, my opinions, my words are important, really. And so the ball started rolling, because I knew this was something important in my life. And by that time, my kids were about mid-teens. And within about 2 years of starting that journey, I had a big awareness that I knew many years before, but this was the turning point, that I needed to make a decision in my marriage to my kid's dad. And it was not until I was taking a week-long personal development class, where I went into that class with the goal, okay, I'm taking this class to improve the relationship with my daughter, who, like you were speaking about, Kelly, she struggled tremendously in her teen years. And I realized that moment how important it was that it was me who had to be healthy and continue to grow in order to show up for her. So it was not about fixing the relationship. It was about me being able to show up for our relationship, because that was a huge thing that I discovered. And so the relationship I have with both my kids, I have 25 and a 21-year-old, and I'm realizing that it's when I do the work, I can be more present for them, which is like, boom, like that's the way it is. And so they have given me that gift of being able to see that now. So that's their gift they gave me. And now I think on the other side, my own mom, my mom was turning 80 this year. And in my first book, she wrote one of my testimonials. And she's like my cheerleading squad. She was so excited when the book was coming out. And I sent her like 50 copies to where she lives. She doesn't live by me. She's like, I'm going to sell them for you. I'm like, okay. And then she was so excited after she read the book. She said, Lisa, you inspired me. And I said, what, Mom? What do you mean? She goes, I went to the restaurant the other day to have lunch, and I sparked up a conversation with a complete stranger, something you did in your book. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
yes. Like, I'm so happy that people are seeing my story and using it as inspiration to inspire themselves to connect with other people. Like, to me, that's one of the biggest things. Like, when you open your mouth, you never know what cool opportunity you're going to be in and be able to stretch that comfort zone again, like Mrs. Potts. So thank you, Sanet.
Wow, thank you.
Lisa, to your point, when you brought up just now about stretching your comfort zone, and how before you really stepped into this healed space, right, there was kind of this journey you were on, what I like to call the hero's journey, where you're like, okay, I need to get rid of some of this icky feeling in my body, right? So I can really start, no pun intended, seeing things clearly. And I remember it took me quitting my meds cold turkey for me to start seeing life from a different lens. Because I was like that YouTube commercial, you guys know what I'm talking about, where it's for one of those mental health drugs, and the one red person is the one who's struggling with depression or something, and then all the blue people is everybody around them who doesn't understand what they're going through. I was that red person for years. And when I let go of this mindset that this is the only way to be healed, I remember going outside and smelling the earth for the first time. I couldn't remember the last time I could smell the grass in the backyard or the flowers blooming. That was the light bulb moment for me. And this was just in 2018 as well. when I left my dream job to come back home. So, to your point, Lisa, I'm glad that you recognized where you were. Number two, I'm glad that you put you first, where your kids are able to show up and be present for you because you're able to do it for them.
Thank you. And can I add one thing? So my daughter, like you said, Kelly, I think about more like modeling for your kids, like your relationship, your husband and you, your relationship. I feel I have done the same as well. So being able to share with my daughter how, and show how a man should respect you and show up for you. And so this coming weekend, I'm driving 5 hours to go see my daughter and her boyfriend. She invited me. However, I said, of course, she's going skydiving, which I'm like, I will watch her and her boyfriend skydive. So she's so excited about that. So, yeah.
Hey, skydiving, nothing wrong with that. I did the zip line over Niagara Falls last summer and I had a ball. So the video's on my Facebook if you guys want to see it, it's there. That was a lot of fun. Lisa, don't you dare jump up in there. We're gonna be like, there's Lisa. Hey, why not? Perfect day.
Yes.
Sanet, for you,
Yes.
how do your children play a role in you feeling empowered? And also, how do they reciprocate that for you?
So I'm going to start with the grandkids because remember now, if you have grandkids, the grandkids is more important than your own kids. So for me, my beautiful Xander is almost 9. His birthday is also on my husband's birthday, May the 13th. And then he will be 9. And then my grandson, Zayden, he is 4 years old. His birthday was a week ago. For me, the most important thing that as every day I see in them is that they are mindful. They don't, they treat everybody the same. They are playful. They are, they are just being them. And that's how amazing for me to see that they can just be them. So for me, I'm a very proud mother because my daughter said to me, Mom, I'm so thankful the way that you have showed me how to be an amazing mum because she is an amazing mum. So for me, that makes it even more special that you know that you did a good job, that you done the best that you could do. And I am so proud of her, what she's doing. She's pregnant again, and we're going to her in October. Lisa, I'm just going to quickly mute you and see if the whistling stops, but we will unmute again. And then for me going there, and for my son-in-law, I never call him my son-in-law. He is my son. He's taking care of my precious daughter and my two grandchildren. So for me, the grandchildren, it's playfulness, the happiness, because I love to bring in joy and happiness, playfulness every day of my life. And then for my children, um, seeing what they are doing with their own lives. I'm truly proud of my daughter and my son-in-law, and I'm proud of my son. Sometimes I feel I can just give my own son a kick under the butt, but he is not a fast person to do stuff fast. He's got a kind heart. He's a beautiful person, and he doesn't like to be like his mum. He's more like his dad. He checked everything out. He will look at the pros and cons, and that is one of the things I just normally trust and jump in and do it. So when people ask me, Sanet, did you go rethink this whole trip? I said, no, the most important thing was to see my mum because I had a feeling I had to see my mum this year still, and she is my biggest cheerleader. And then I didn't know even what is going to happen in New York, and then all the other trips was coming along. So for me, seeing them and seeing how they are able to being amazing human beings, adults first of all, and then give the children space to be themselves. That's amazing. So for me, empowerment on all levels. And then with my mum, being here with my mum, I do talk to her a lot, but don't see her a lot. But even her, with the way that she is not very, she's her move mobility, mobility is very much restricted of, of all the things that happened to her. But still, she's not lying down. She's still getting up, and we're still singing and dancing, although it's just with the hands. But it's beautiful because the life is still there, and life wants to go on. So that is important. If everyone can have that love, and that will even give them more empowerment to keep on living. Thank you for asking.
I have another. So I know Mother's Day is Sunday. So happy early Mother's Day to the three of you. I'm going to take it too because I have a four-legged companion upstairs who's spoiled. So I want to ask this question about from each of you, and I'm going to start with Kelly. One of the things that I've been grateful for through my transition journey of both of my parents, my mom was my biggest cheerleader. And one of the things that I learned from my mom early on was be all you can be. And that was the Army slogan that got her enlisted in the early 80s. I didn't come until years later, XYZ. So the question I want to ask each of you, and we'll start with you, Kelly, is what's a lesson that you've taken from your mom that you use daily in your life?
Ooh. So my mom actually was my teacher, my music teacher from 3rd to 5th grade. So I luckily had an educator as a teacher, and I always said that I didn't want to be a teacher, and then I ended up being an educator. So, there's that. I think the biggest thing and it was the one thing that I hated that my mom did all the time, but she corrected my grammar. She also, like spelling, right? Corrected whenever I said something wrong or I spelled something wrong. And it was the most annoying thing as I was growing up. However, now that I'm in business, now that I have a TV show and radio show and I speak on stages, it is probably the best thing that my mom could have done because she still does it to this day. But it has helped me progress as a professional and as a business owner, and then being able, and unfortunately now I correct everybody else's grammar. Also kind of, when I get emails, I look and I'm like, you spelled that wrong. It's fine. But that was probably the biggest thing that my mom gave me. And then the love of family. Our family has always been really, really close, especially on my mom's side. And she has always, whether they're her stepkids or another family, right? She's always had them as part of the family. She's always been grandma. It hasn't ever been separated like stepkids versus actual kids. It's always been she just is mom or grandma. And that's the other big part. And so as a stepmom, it's something that you're like, where's the line? I'm not sure how to do this, but those are the pieces that I take from my mom the most, for sure.
So Kelly, my mom was an educator for 13 years. She taught special education. And I remember my mom coming with the red pen on occasion to circle different things, or my mom, because she understood every subject when I would be struggling with math, she would have little activities and things to really help me. So I remember that and I appreciate it too. And I'm also somebody who's a grammar snob a little bit. When I see it in emails, I'm glad that people don't see me because my eyeball starts to twitch. So on that note, I'll leave that alone. Lisa, what about you? I know your mom is 80 this year. She's turning 80. And I'm curious, what did you learn from her that you continue to use daily in your life? I know a lot of us probably look like our moms. If you guys see my mom, she looks amazing. She's a bombshell. But other than that, what about you, Lisa?
I have a picture of her somewhere in this book. Can I? It's funny, yeah. I three of us, our moms are educators. So my mom was my kindergarten teacher, and you learn everything in kindergarten, right? And I think one of the gifts I realized later with having my mom as a teacher, it was kind of one of those things. Of course, I couldn't say, Mom, it was always teacher or Miss Galant, like this, right? So that was always awkward. However, when I grew up and mom was saying, she would always tell me, yeah, other parents were wondering if their next child was going to be mom's teacher, because she was known in the community far and wide as the best kindergarten teacher ever, ever. And she has like 40, 50-year-old her old students coming back to her and saying like, thank you, like I loved kindergarten. So that's how I felt about school, which, for many, they have rough time in school and they have challenges in school. School was the best thing ever, because that's what mom believed. Mom believed that every child possesses positive qualities or has a great skill, and to nurture that so they can, work on other things. Like, she reminds me as one of those 2 stars and a wish kind of lady. Like, she'll find the 2 things that you're doing fantastic in and tell you about it, and then that one thing that you can work on, that you can improve. So when I became a teacher in 95, I took on the exact same qualities that she was. Like, I had many parents say, "Are you going to be my son or daughter's teacher next year? I hope so. Like, we hear such good things about you." And so, because I believed in always teaching from the positive side and finding the great things that kids can do, because to me, I needed that level of trust, and it had to be fun. It had to be fun in my day. Like, I used to do workouts with the kids to music. I used to dance to music in the class as a break, right? And then the last 4 years or so, just before COVID, I was letting kids, or I was like, I should say, encouraging kids to eat salad during the day. Like, they'd have lettuce sitting on their desk and veggies all day. Like, yeah, it was like, when I started to grow, that's when it became even more fun. I always taught. Mom always showed me, and still does to this day, that looking at the glass half full is the way to look at life.
Lisa, that reminds me of the saying my mom had, that everybody has the ability to learn. That was my mother's motto. And I take that with me everywhere that I go. And talk about teachers, seeing them years later. So my music teacher from XYZ years ago posted on LinkedIn the other day that he's retiring, that I'm going to come to his retirement party. He doesn't know it. So I don't mind sharing it here because he probably won't see this anyway. But if he does, he knows that Portia's coming to see him and to thank him, because I have my first music book from him and it has his handwriting in it, and I'm going to show it to him.
Wow.
So talk about teachers making an impact or leaving an impact. He was one of the ones for me.
Wow. Amazing.
Amazing.
Sanet, for you.
So for me, you want to ask the question? I'm too fast. But
Go ahead, Sanet.
I want to say, my mom always used to say, never go to bed when you didn't resolve a argument, if I can call it like that, or indifference. So that is one thing I always not just for me, but for my children as well, and then for people as well. When I talk about relationship, I always will say, rather talk it out and then go to bed. So never go to bed angry. And then my mom always say, life is like a song. It depends on you if your song is happy or sad.
I like it.
I agree. And we get to choose. I think all of our moms really instilled that in each of us, the power of choice, how we see the world, how we show up in the world, and how we respond to things that come to us. So I know we're going to be closing out here.
Yes.
So Kelly, I'm going to let you say a final thought and how our audience can connect with you moving forward.
Amazing. I mean, this conversation about empowerment and being able, I mean, the underlying theme is really like empower ourselves to be able to empower others. And what that looks like for you is totally up to you. We have choice in life, and that's the best thing I think about life is we all do the best that we can with the resources that we have available, and truly we can empower ourselves to empower others. And what a great conversation. And I love that, music is all involved there. My mom, the music, right? The music teacher. It was amazing. So you can find me. I'm across every single social media that you can imagine. As we're doing this rebrand, you might see BCC Evolution, you might see Make Mental Health Matter, but the website, the easiest one to go to is makementalhealthmatter.org. And again, that's the action behind it, because we're making mental health matter. And so if you want to reach out, that's the best way to find me.
Excellent. Kelly, you're thebomb.com. Me and you are going to talk later on because we've got a lot in common. So thank you so much. Lisa, a final thought and how our audience can connect with you.
Well, like I said, stretching your comfort zone, and the whole empowerment idea, it's the looking at yourself and how you can then inspire or influence or help or support someone else. So I'm going to leave you with 2 nuggets. I don't know if you were reviewing any nuggets today, but I'm going to leave you with 2 nuggets. So if you are in a relationship, here's my suggestion every day to ask each other, how can I love you today? To do that every day. My husband and I did that for the first year and a bit, and then we do it every other day. And at the end of the day to say, did I love you today? So did we meet the fulfillment? And that was from this book. You know what I learned when I was writing this book? I was like, oh, I need to look at myself in the mirror and ask, how can I love you today? So those are your 2 nuggets I'm leaving you with to feel more empowered.
And how can people connect with you, Lisa?
The easiest one to remember is forwardwalkingchoices.com. That's my husband and I's coaching business that we're beginning, and you'll find our books and everything there. We are on Amazon, and I do have my own website. You can search me on every platform pretty much, and I'm so excited. I also want to put a plug in for my husband. He has his print copy called My Perfect Storm is his book that's coming out all about his life. So it's very exciting. We'll have 3 books together.
Yay. That's thebomb.com. Everything is amazing. So guys, my final thought for all of you, I'm going to leave this. Your story is not for you. I'm going to say it again. Your story is not for you. Your story is to help other people to stop making the cemetery wealthier with their goals, dreams, and aspirations that they wish to bring into fruition. So that goes along with empowerment. You want to follow me? I'm on Instagram at Portia the Grief Grantor, Facebook and LinkedIn, Portia Booker. Thank you guys so much. So now I'm going to toss it back to you, my dear.
Oh, wow. What an amazing show. Thank you, my beautiful Portia. You are amazing. Thank you, my beautiful Lisa and Kelly, for giving us your inspirations. So, my beautiful ladies, I've got one question to ask you. Will you have a dance with me? Here we go.